But what I want to start with, and what I love to teach people, is to live by intention. I think, who said it earlier? It was down there. We want to be intentional, because that's what it's all about. Most people just go through the motions of life. You wake up and just see, let's see what happens today, versus actually being intentional. So right now, I want you to start with, what's your intention for today? What do you want to get out of this? And I'll give a few different examples. So one is, you show up, hey, I'm gonna see what happens. No idea what the itinerary is, what is gonna happen, I'm just gonna show up. That's level one. Next level, I'm gonna show up, and I'm gonna take a bunch of notes, I'm gonna learn something, and I'm gonna leave different. We hope, that's our goal, is we want all of you guys to leave different. But let's take it up a level. I'm gonna show up, I'm gonna get everything I can out of this, I'm gonna play full out. I'm gonna leave different. But I'm gonna intentionally connect with at least one person here and create a brotherhood that lasts past this event. You can already tell there's a difference from that to the first one. And then you can take it up a level. Not only am I going to connect with people here, I'm going to create a brotherhood, but then I'm going to connect with the speakers, connect with JP and Cam and everybody here, and create a long-lasting relationship. It's completely different, and I will share you kind of how I've done that in my life and the impact it's made. But right now, I want you to write down, what is your intention? What are you looking to get out of this? And for me, to be honest, I'm here to change somebody's life today. And that's totally different than I'm just going to show up and hopefully somebody can take something good out of what I have to say. But no, I'm here to change lives. And to be really clear, I'm not changing anybody's life. I'm a catalyst for change. But I know I can't change anybody else if you guys aren't fully present and you're not intentional. So think about, what are you looking to get out of today? Being intentional. And then take it past today. Every single day when you wake up, what is your intention? And this got really clear for me a few years ago. It's 2018, I had a near-death accident. And that really woke me up, that I had settled and I had gotten comfortable. And I was just going through the motions. And that's when I shifted everything. I walked away from a successful business into the coaching space because I really wanted to make an impact for people. But it starts by being intentional. And I'm going to show you how using that intention to create association can have the impact your life, your business, your marriage, every aspect of life. So right now, as you guys, I just want you to take a minute, share with each other in the group. What do you want to get out of today? Just between each table there. I know the guys back there, they got an intention. They didn't just show up today just to go through the motions. So you guys just share for a minute. Because again, the power of intention, what you focus on expands. So actually communicating this with each other, you're actually going to get more out of today. So
sometimes I bump from one thing to the next, but even though I can't control what stupid employee does, I can control my life. For sure. I think it's just get busy, and I don't control it.
And don't want to interrupt, but one thing I want you guys to communicate too is what's different in your intention now from what you guys have already been through this morning and what I just said about actually focusing on an intention versus be honest. Did you just show up not really knowing what to expect? Maybe I'll get something out of this because I'm curious, just by focusing on it, did something change for you too? So take a minute to share that. So what I want to do now, and that was the intention of mine for you guys, is to create more of a bond too. Like you guys felt it downstairs when you shared as the group, but I want you guys to leave here and actually be able to, like, I'm not alone. Like a lot of guys, we show up, we go through our life and we suffer in silence. There's a lot of guys suffering by themselves in silence. So we want to come here and actually lift each other up. So let's actually just share at the group. What is your intention? What do you want to get out of today?
I want to be more focused overall. That's at work. When I'm at work, being focused there. When I get home, try to turn the work off and focus on wife and kids.
Yeah.
And I mean, wherever that is, and just my work was focused. And I know somebody said earlier, I forget which one it was, I need to change it, but I want to be a more focused person and attentive to when I get home to my family's needs.
I love it. I love it. And something that brings up too is make sure we listen to each other, because sometimes it's a word that somebody else says, like, damn, I need to be more intentional with my kids or whatever it is. So let other people speak to you too. Just be open to receive, because that's huge. It's all about Be intentional every single day, every single interaction with your kids, being intentional with them, being intentional with your spouse, intentional with your girlfriend, whatever it is, being intentional. And a lot of times when we do stuff like this, you're in your own head thinking, what am I going to say when it gets to me? Let all that go. There's no judgment. Let's just listen to each other and just see what comes out. What do you got?
Taking ownership and responsibility for my actions. And I would say just going through the process of earning back the trust of my family after what all we've been through.
Okay. So this is for everybody. So for both of you guys so far too, write down, what will it take for me to do that? What will it take for you to take ownership? Because the answer's inside of you. And again, we're here today to pull it out of you, but process it. What would it take for you? And I'm not going to ask you in front of the group, but just let that process and write that down. What would it take for you to be more intentional? How do you need to show up? Who do you need to become to be that person who takes ownership?
Mine would be to be a better father and husband for my family. Get off my phone, so put work aside, and actually be
Sure, we all can relate to that.
Be a
Get off
dad,
my
be a
phone.
husband,
Yep.
give back to them, and stop making excuses for the day-to-day, like the consumption of other things outside of the house.
Yep. So part of the intention is to create awareness. So when he goes back and all of a sudden he's with his kids and he's going to catch himself on his phone. Because it's hardwired in. We got a habit. Like that's just, man, it's always on us. What are the notifications? What can I look up? But now when you become intentional and you wake up every day and say, you know what, I'm going to be present today. So then when you do pick up your phone, you're like, nope, I'm putting it away. You're actually going to catch yourself. So that's good.
I'm just walking in true integrity to myself and like changing my perspective of the way that I view the world and myself, and like just being honest with myself and real with myself about what's going on, and like being present enough to like really be self-aware enough to go into the truth of where those things are coming from, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because all of this is self-reflection anyways. And again, remembering we're not alone. We all have our shit. We all go through stuff, and it's okay. There is no judgment. The worst judgment is the judgment we put on ourselves. You realize like most people around us, they don't care. They don't care that you are dealing with porn or gambling addiction, whatever's going on. Other people don't care about that. They want to love you through it. But we put the shame, the guilt, and the blame on ourselves and just continue to make things worse. So be okay to let that go.
My word was intentional, but I think being intentional, like life's too short to not. So like, get up a little earlier. Like, there was nothing special about what JP and Cam did this morning. Not to take any fire away from them, but like I can work out of my house if I just get up.
Yeah.
I can get in my bathtub and fill it up with ice. If
Yeah,
I just do it. I mean, like
Yeah.
that's the whole point of it. I know, right? So it's just like
Create that environment.
Yeah, and we get hung in crazy busy life and family and wife and everything else, and it's like, but you can still control your life, and you can still decide what you're going to do in a day and what you're going to get accomplished. Yeah, there's still in the group here, but like I can't help that an employee's going to make a stupid decision that day, but I can have my life together so that I can handle that stupid decision when they make it,
Yeah, absolutely.
So I can't control everybody else, but I can control myself.
Yep, for sure. And you mentioned, he said, life's too short, which we've all heard that. It became real for me when I had a near-death accident and almost died. We all question our purpose, like why are we here? Like what are we called to do? But for me, I asked a different question. I want you guys to write this down. Why am I still here? Because for me, things could have been different. What if I didn't wake up? Like I heard a voice that said, wake up, and I was trapped underwater. So when I survived that, I said, why am I still here? There's got to be a purpose. But the reality is you don't have to go through something like that to answer the question, why am I still here? Like you woke up today. There's air in your lungs, your heart is beating. You are here today for a purpose. Why are you still here? So process that. Ask yourselves the question. And this is part of what I want you guys to learn from all of us here. This isn't just something you come to do today. Like always asking yourself. Take the stuff that we speak about and say, why am I still here? 6 months from now, still asking yourself, why am I still here? If God still has me alive in 6 months, it's for a purpose. So thank you for bringing that up. What you got?
Just to re-engage in life. I mean, really re-engage in life.
Yeah.
Been disengaged for quite a long time. Really trying to find a way to get back to being engaged. I guess that's unfair. Let me articulate that a little differently. I didn't care to engage in life anymore. I lost the desire to engage in life anymore because I just didn't care anymore.
Yeah.
And it's been a long road to try and get back to a point where I care about. I've been floating on the sea of sadness for so long. It's like, you know,
Yep.
it's,
Yeah.
it's just where it is, man.
Yeah.
You gotta do what you gotta do, you know?
Yep.
I mean, I
Just
get up
get
and I
through
go
that.
through the motions. I breathe, I go to work, I make decisions, yada, yada, yada. But
Yeah.
is any of it, is the passion there, is the fire there? And the only passion I have left now is for my wife and for God. And
Yeah.
other than that, I really don't give a rip about anything else.
Right, yeah, I totally get that. And I'm a very intuitive speaker too, so I feed off of this stuff. It's not like I'm not, these bullet points I'm gonna talk about today. No. So maybe this is for you and maybe it's for somebody else, but a friend of mine, I heard this recently, you're most powerfully positioned to serve the person you once were. So think about all the shit you've gone through and are going through. Maybe the point is to speak to somebody else to give them hope. So for all of you guys, you're most powerfully positioned to serve the person you once were. And that's where at the end of this, like you guys are going to leave differently. And maybe that person, it's to, hey, getting somebody else to the next event so they can have a change. And then the stuff that you're going through, you're able to reach back to them, that person you used to be, and speak life into that person. So thank you for sharing that. So yeah, so intention. So first off, I want to get to association is the principle. So right now, I just want to write down your top 20 people that you associate with. And you got kids, put your kids on there. You associate with them. Put your wife, your kids, your spouse, girlfriend, people that you work with, whatever it is, top 20 list, who do you associate with? I got some good lists going, I like that. Because we've all heard the saying, you are who you surround yourself with. And Jim Rohn said, you are the product of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And the reason is because what you think about, you bring about. So your level of thinking inspires your actions and the things that you actually do. So the collective of the people you spend time with is the way you're thinking. Now, what I want you to do with this list is I want you to put a plus or minus sign beside each one of these. And the minus is not necessarily they're a negative person. I want you to think of it, do they drive me or do they drain me? I got a good friend of mine, he's a positive dude, but I can only take him in a small amount because he drains the shit out of me. So that could be, he would go on the negative, it's like, because I can only spend so much time with him. So I want you to look for each one of these people and be honest. This could be your wife, she drains the shit out of me. Not mine, but it could be for you. Or it could be your kids, like they drain my energy. So just be honest with yourself right now. Just put the positive and the negative beside each person. Do they drive me or do they drain me? All right, looking through those. Anybody have negative beside every single person? I haven't had that before. I'm just curious. Like every single person around me. And so the beauty of this, I really want you to look at the list because honestly, it could be the wife, the kids, there's a negative drain there. And this isn't to say, hey, I need to get them out of my life. Don't go up and break up with your girlfriend, any of that stuff. It's for you to be aware of just what's around you. If the kids are draining you right now, how can I shift it? And how can I be that intentional time with my kids where it's actually a driving force for me? Same thing if I know my wife is negative and she brings me down, how can I shift it? How can I create a positive environment where there's love, connection, we actually bring it into a positive? So think about that with the people around you. How can you actually shift it and make it a driver for you? Or if you do notice people on there that are negative, maybe I do need to limit some of the time I spend with them. Maybe they are influencing me in a negative way. So I just want you to be very aware of, number one, who you're associating yourself with now. Then we want to look at, well, who do you want to be around in the future? And there's a story, he's a rich businessman, Odysseus Onassis. And he's a very wealthy guy. He was being interviewed by a reporter. And the reporter asked him, if you lost everything today, what would you do? He said, I would go out, I would get a job, I'd save up $500, and I'd go out to eat at a restaurant that cost $500. And I'd go back at it. I'd go back to work. I'd save up $500, go out to eat at a restaurant that costs $500. I go back to work, save up $500, go out to eat to a restaurant that costs $500. Started to say it again, the reporter's like, why do you keep wasting your money? And he said, that's the difference. He said, for me, I know by me being around the people that have a $500 dinner, I'm gonna find somebody there that's gonna help me build my wealth back. That's the power of association. Putting yourself in the right room. I like to be the dumbest person in the room. How can I put myself in a room that I can learn from others? That's why I love these guys here. It's like being around the right people. So once you start to think about who do you need to surround yourself with? And I love that I'm speaking on this because this is something I believe, write this down, relationships are rocket ships. Relationships are rocket ships. You never know where they can take you. And this is a principle, my wife and I'm a chiropractor by trade. We started a practice in 2010, and we went out based on 2 principles. Jesus didn't come to be served, he came to serve. And the Zig Ziglar quote, you can get anything you want in life if you help enough other people get what they want. So it was all about serving. We didn't go out in the community trying to say, how can we get new patients into our business? We went and served other businesses. Hey, how can we help you? What can we do? How can we serve? And our practice blew up. Shift gears, had my near-death accident. I go in the coaching space. I didn't know anybody. But it was all about authentic connections. How can I get in the right rooms? The big picture of this is as you're figuring this out, then you speak to those others. And I did hear you mention of you not really care about the business connections because it's more of those type of connections, but don't limit yourself. Because think about even in that world, who can you connect with that at least thinks like you? And then how can we bring more of this into that world, into the tattoo artist world? Like that world needs that. So how can you be an influence there? What are other people I can connect with? Maybe there's tattoo artists that do podcasts and different things. Maybe you get to share your story on there. Like you never know where these things can lead. So I love that. What you got?
One of the names I wrote down was Will Rockefeller. Been kind of trying to form a relationship with him. He's from Arkansas there, but his family owns the Rockefeller Center in New York, and so they're just a guy that's got a lot of connections, and so want to continue to build that relationship and do some lunch meetings and some other things in the future. So want to do that, and the why I guess is I've said this a lot, not stealing your thunder, but relationships, or that's life, right? It's either you make life or not based on relationships. Not because you can't do it on your own, but how much better are you when you're on a team,
Yeah.
And so you definitely want to continue to build those relationships. That's the only reason that I've gotten to where I have in life. Not that I've attained, but just through relationships.
Yeah, and it's a very important point too, is if your goals are only as big enough that you can accomplish on your own, your goal isn't big enough. You need a bigger goal.
To think bigger.
Yeah.
I think of myself as thinking big. I've got a lot of things going on, and so I think, I think it big, but then, how much bigger could I think?
Yeah.
It just goes back to this morning, we thought we couldn't do another push-up, you just think, I've attained, but.
Yeah.
And then, a lot of times, I'm not one I play my cards close, and so I'm not one to share a lot.
Yeah.
Even with my wife, that took her a while. She'd find out something a couple days later that happened, and she was like, "You didn't tell me." I was like, "Well, yeah, why? I didn't see the need to." But I'm opening up to that. But just cuts down on drama and cuts down on a lot of things if you don't just sit there and talk. So I just apply it. But I need to be more intentional to share my story and help others. I told the group here about I bought the dealership when I was 21. Didn't go to college, worked there out of high school. Guy wanted to retire, and I bought it. So it's not necessarily that you've obtained, but I can help other guys start their business, help them through some struggles. Those first 3 or 4 years were difficult.
Yeah.
So
people don't hear that side of the story too. They see the success
married at the time, and so that's why I didn't have any kids at the time and all that. But you kind of ride that wave, you come out on the other side. What's been like now. We had 10-year anniversary, and so anyway, I need to be a little bit more open to share my story and help others.
Absolutely.
And I think helping others helps me.
Absolutely, yeah, it does. It's all reaping and sowing. We're putting out, it's coming back to us. It's all energy. And so remember that. If you can accomplish your goal on your own, your goal isn't big enough. You need to set bigger goals that you need other people to come alongside you, because then you get the multiply effect. And then something I heard you share earlier was you had that question, well, who wants to learn from me? We've all had that. Waldy, you've ever thought that? Well, who wants to hear this from me? Even me. Like, I read my first Tony Robbins book when I was 16. Fired me up on mindset, growth mindset. I wanted personal development. I studied it for years. So I was like, who else wants to hear this? Everybody, I took it for granted. Like, oh, everybody else knows this stuff. Then I started putting it out there and people were like, no, I want this. And they didn't want to hear it from Tony Robbins. They want to hear it from me. So they want to hear stuff from you. They want to hear stuff for you. You could be putting out the same stuff that other people put out, but people are in your world for a reason. And they want to hear your take. They want to hear what were the struggles you went through to get to where you are. So how can I avoid some of that and get to where you are? So yeah, there's always those stories. People want to hear your story. And that's another misconception too, is that you don't have a story. I believe everybody has a story and everybody needs to tell their story. So develop your story. Even though you're not at the end of the story, what's the story now? Where you are in life. And how can that story help somebody else? Because even as you're helping somebody else, it can continue to help you go through your story. And that can give you purpose of, man, I just spoke life to this person. Maybe I can just continue to develop my purpose and help more people and help more people. So yeah, everybody has a story. You need to develop it and you need to tell it. Because there's people in your world that don't know your story and can never be helped by you if you don't tell it.
Honestly, and making this list, it made me realize how few people I have closely in my network.
I was like that too, yeah.
So like I just kind of made a general list of the type of people that I want to start trying to connect with.
Yeah.
And I think like getting around other men with a growth mindset is something that I want to find ways to do more.
Yeah.
Getting around people that are in the coaching world, because that's my passion and the direction I'm going is towards the coaching world.
Yeah.
Especially people with podcasts and things like that. I love to network more with those types of men and hear about their journey and how they've created what they've created.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and where are you from? You're not local, right? Okay, yeah, they probably do it there. Like Nashville has a podcasters meetup. So like people get together and like they all just share their journey of podcasting. Same thing there. Maybe you connect with people and then maybe realize, hey, I want to start my own podcast and talk about this. You never know where these things will go, but the ideas come from surrounding yourself with the right people. It might take the other people, because podcasting is actually a very easy thing to do, but we create all the stories of nobody wants to hear me or what would I say. Get around the right people. Cam and JP, perfect example. Like they're just doing it, man, and they just put it out and put it out and put it out. And I'm sure you're like, I don't know if anybody's going to listen. Same thing when I started putting my content out online. Like I don't know if anybody's going to listen, but they start coming, and all of a sudden, yeah, you might get the people the haters, but what about that one person you changed their life? So never take that for granted. So yeah, get yourself around the right people and see where it goes.
Mine's very similar. I told them that mine would be a guy named Philip. My biggest thing is like being a better father for my kids and their husband and wife. So we just started getting around some new people by association.
Yep.
So definitely getting more plugged in to become a better person by first fixing the people that I'm around on a daily basis.
Yeah, be that example. Yeah, and then intentionally, so at church, I'm going to intentionally look at people that, who's somebody I would resonate with, because then we can create a friendship and a bond, not just see you on Sunday.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, good.
I said my brother, I haven't really had a relationship with him much. He moved out to Oregon after college, and so it's been several years since we've really kind of kept up. He actually runs a church out there, so he's got a lot of good knowledge, good community surrounded by him, strong prayer circle. So that could be a good. It's good to just catch up and let him know what else going on.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a good point too, because a lot of people, they want to help others. So when you go to him, he's gonna be like, dude, I want to help you. I've been waiting for you to come to me. Same thing with others, like people that have podcasts, like they want to help other podcasters get started. Like there's people around you. We're afraid to ask people sometimes though, like, oh, well, they got a successful podcast, they're not gonna want to talk to me. No, they want to help you. Your brother's gonna want to help you. I love that. Win. That's where we got to put the win. We got to follow through with it. Otherwise, 6 months from now, I'm going to ask you, hey, did you follow up with your brother? No, I didn't, because I didn't actually put a deadline on it. So just what comes to mind right now?
Call him tomorrow.
There you go. Who's going to keep him accountable? Somebody at your table.
I will. That's good.
All right, there we go. There we go. Perfect. All right, what you got? Finish it off right here.
Just influential people, and that I've, two of them, Mike Freer and Jay Patel, that I've kind of know, rekindled some stuff there.
Okay, why and when?
Hopefully this week.
Okay.
And, just to assistant purposes.
Okay, yes, build the relationship. All right. Well, yeah. So guys, I appreciate. Okay. Oh, that's true. That's true. Yes. He caught it. He did catch it. But yeah, glad you caught that. I'm glad you caught that. But yeah, so I hope you guys really do. And that's what's so difficult with this world, like the personal development space. Like these principles are so simple, but we take them for granted. So there is power in association. It changed my life. I know it can do the same for you. So be intentional every single day. What am I going to get out of today? What do I want to accomplish? And show up for your family, for your kids, but be intentional with it, and then be intentional with who I'm going to associate with. Who am I not going to associate with too? Be intentional with that, but then really can make those connections, those associations, because like I said, relationships are rocket ships. You never know where they will take you. I never knew these guys. Even some of them just was on Travis's podcast not too long ago. I never would have connected with him if it wasn't for these guys, like, because it's all this web of connections. So go out there, make the connections, but be intentional the rest of the day here too, because I want you guys, I know they want you to leave different. That's what it's all about. So thank you guys. Appreciate your time.